All right, so we're diving deep into meme coins today.
Okay.
But with a twist, right? You sent over some articles about this GTPR.
Right.
And at first glance, it seems like they're trying to do something a little bit more than just, just be a hype machine, be a pump and dump kind of a thing. Now, I get it. Like, I'm sure for a lot of people listening, you hear meme coin, and immediately the skepticism radar starts blaring, right?
Sure.
Because often that's all it is, right?
Yeah, a lot of times.
But GTPR claims to be offering, real utility and lasting value within its ecosystem. So let's dig into this, right? Is this all smoke and mirrors? Or is there something something more substantial beneath the surface?
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly an interesting proposition. What we're seeing with GTPR is, I think, an attempt to kind of bridge that gap between, that meme-driven hype and actual real-world use cases. It's not just about, like, a funny name or a viral meme.
Right.
They're trying to actually build, like, a whole ecosystem around this token.
Right. And that ecosystem is called GoatTapper, right?
Yes.
And it's this gaming and investment platform. And this is where things get really interesting, right?
Yeah, okay.
You can use GTPR for in-game purchases, like boosters, skins, all the typical stuff you'd find in a game. But you can also use it to bid on fractional ownership of real estate through these things called goat drop auctions. Pretty wild combo.
It's a very interesting combination. What's the thinking behind that,
Yeah, what's the logic there?
That unique blend.
Yeah, I mean, it seems almost random, but it also seems like maybe they've stumbled onto something pretty unique, right?
Yeah, it's fascinating. I think it reflects a kind of broader trend we're seeing in the crypto space, which is, the search for ways to integrate digital assets with tangible value, right? Real estate, with its history of stability and appreciation, makes for a pretty compelling pairing with the often volatile world of crypto.
For sure.
But the question is, can they actually pull it off? Can they actually make that work?
We'll see. So let's break down these use cases a little bit more.
Okay.
The in-game purchases, I think, seem pretty straightforward. You use GTPR to buy stuff. It enhances your gameplay, kind of like you would with, in-game gold or whatever in a traditional video game.
Right.
But the difference here is that GTPR is a cryptocurrency with its own market value.
Yes.
Which adds kind of another layer of complexity to the equation.
Exactly. And it's that fluctuation that makes it so intriguing for players, right? Because there's the potential for the value of their in-game assets to, increase.
Any other crypto investment.
Exactly. Just like any other crypto investment. And plus,
this system creates that direct incentive for players to, acquire or use GTPR, which theoretically drives demand for the token.
Okay.
Right.
So that makes sense on, like, the gaming side of things.
Yeah.
But let's talk about these goat drop auctions.
Okay.
You're telling me I can potentially own a piece of real estate through a video game.
That's the idea.
How does that even work?
So that's where the concept of tokenized real estate comes in.
Okay.
Essentially, they're representing ownership of physical properties through digital tokens on a blockchain.
Okay.
So think of it like, owning a digital deed to a virtual property, right? You have a stake in the underlying asset.
Okay.
Just like, owning a share of a company.
So instead of, like, buying a whole building, I can buy a fraction of it using GTPR.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's pretty wild. It almost feels like they're trying to democratize real estate investment in a way.
Making it accessible to people who might not have the capital to buy entire property outright. But
it's a novel approach.
Yeah.
It has the potential to lower the barrier to entry for a lot of people.
Right.
But it also comes with its own set of risks and challenges, right?
Right.
I mean, we need to look into how these tokenized assets are structured.
Yeah.
What legal frameworks are in place. What kind of due diligence is involved.
You're right.
Yeah.
We can't just gloss over those potential downsides.
Exactly.
So let's shift gears for a second and talk about the tech that underpins all of this blockchain.
Yeah.
Now, for our listeners who, might be new to the crypto world, can you give us a simplified explanation
Sure.
of how blockchain technology plays into ownership verification in this context?
So imagine like a digital ledger that's distributed across a network of computers. Every transaction, every change of ownership is recorded on this ledger and verified by multiple parties. This makes it incredibly difficult to tamper with, to forge ownership records. So when you win an NFT, you're representing ownership of a fraction of a property through a goat drop auction. That transaction is immutably recorded on the blockchain. Providing a very high level of security and transparency.
That's a really clear explanation.
Oh, good.
So basically, the blockchain acts as a sort of like digital notary, right? Ensuring that the ownership records are accurate and tamper-proof.
Exactly.
That's pretty reassuring, especially when you're dealing with something as valuable as,
absolutely,
real estate.
It's all about creating that trust and transparency in a system that has historically been, very opaque and difficult to navigate.
Okay, so we've got meme-fueled hype combined with real-world utility, all underpinned by blockchain tech. This is like a triple-decker sandwich of innovation, but with a side of potential risk. What I'm curious about is how sustainable is this model? Is this just a short-term play? Or can GTPR maintain its value over the long haul?
That's the million-dollar question. And to answer that, we need to look at the kind of underlying economic engine driving the entire system. How does GTPR generate and sustain demand? What are the mechanisms in place to prevent the token from losing value? So let's unpack that next.
All right, let's do it.
So, we want to make sure GTPR is built for long-term sustainability, not just a flash in the pan. And one key aspect of that is this concept of like a cyclical demand loop.
Okay, a cyclical demand loop. Walk me through that.
Okay.
How does that keep the GTPR economy?
So imagine a like continuous cycle, right? Where gameplay drives demand for GTPR. Players earn or purchase GTPR, which they can then use for in-game purchases. Participate in those, goat drop auctions we talked about, or simply hold as an investment.
So it's like a kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy. The more people engage with the GoatTapper platform, the more valuable GTPR becomes, attracting even more users.
Exactly.
And
a key factor in this cycle, though, the perceived value of GTPR, right? If people believe in the long-term token and the platform, they're more likely to hold on to it, further driving up that scarcity.
Makes sense. But it hinges on people actually wanting to use the platform.
Of course,
So we need to understand the GoatTapper gaming experience itself.
Exactly.
Like, what's the gameplay like? What kind of audience are they targeting?
So from what we've seen so far, I think GoatTapper leans towards more like casual gaming with a strong emphasis on, social elements, right? Think like challenges, competitions, various ways for players to interact with each other. Remember those social challenges and referral programs we talked about? This is kind of where that comes into play.
So it's not just about solitary gameplay. You actually need to engage with other players to kind of...
It encourages that interaction.
And get the most out of it.
Exactly.
That's an interesting approach. I mean, it seems like they're really trying to foster that.
It's a good strategy, I think.
Sense of community.
Because a strong community can be a huge driver of growth and engagement for any platform, right?
And it makes sense, right? Like, people are more likely to stick around if they feel like they're a part of something.
Exactly. Part of something bigger than themselves.
But, community building's easier said than done.
For sure.
We've seen plenty of games try and fail to create vibrant, lasting communities. So what makes GoatTapper different?
That's the crucial question. And to answer it, I think we need more information about like the specifics of the gameplay and the social features. Right? Are the challenges like actually engaging and rewarding?
Are the communication tools intuitive?
Are they user friendly? These are the details that will determine whether the community thrives or fizzles out.
It's like building a house, right? You can have a great blueprint, all the right materials, but if the construction isn't solid...
The execution.
Yeah.
The whole thing falls apart.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that brings us to another critical aspect, I think, we need to analyze.
Okay.
Competition.
Right. I mean, the crypto gaming landscape is becoming increasingly crowded.
For sure.
Right. Are there other platforms out there offering similar experiences or features?
Yeah.
How does GoatTapper,
differentiate
itself and attract players in such a...
in a saturated market.
Saturated market, yeah.
Right, because if there's already, like, a platform out there that offers, tokenized real estate through gaming, why would someone choose GoatTapper over that?
Exactly. That's what we need to figure out.
Yeah, what gives them a competitive edge?
Yeah, exactly. And that's information I think we need to uncover.
Okay.
Maybe it's the specific gameplay.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the